Those of you that have been following the updates in Duel Links may have realized that recently we got Spellbook of Knowledge. There was a bundle added to the game, and then there's going to be Fortune Lady Fire added to the game soon. And as someone that's a Fortune Lady player, I wanted to talk about the implications of these two cards being added to the game for Fortune Lady players. So like what difference the two cards are going to make for the deck and how useful they're going to be. So if we go ahead and look at the notifications in game really quick, you can see that right here we've got the Spellbook of Knowledge bundle, and it just came out I think yesterday. So you get Spellbook of Knowledge along with some packs, and Spellbook of Knowledge is unlimited one list, so make sure to keep in mind that you can't use it alongside cards like Monster Reborn and Storm. So remember that before you decide to buy the bundle. And then if you look at the upcoming updates, you'll see that next month in the Tag Duel tournament, there's Fortune Lady Fire. So the Tag Duel tournament is coming. Get the new UR card, Galaxy Cleric, and the new SR card, Fortune Lady Fire from the lottery. So let's go ahead and go over what those two cards mean for Fortune Ladies. Now, I'm a Fortune Lady main. I haven't really posted any videos about Duel Links on this channel, but despite posting Master Duel videos a couple of times, I'm not a TCG player. I just played the TCG a little bit when I was a kid and collected the cards, but I was playing Duel Links for about 3 to 4 years on and off before starting up Master Duel. So actually I'm a refugee from the Duel Links community, and I don't really play Duel Links anymore after Master Duel, but when I did play, I was a Fortune Lady main, and that's the deck that I'm best with. I'm most comfortable with that deck. I got many King of Games rankings with that deck, and I generally understand the deck very well, and I know a bunch of advanced lines with the deck and stuff like that. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go into Master Duel really quick, and we'll pull up Fortune Lady Fire, and we'll pull up Spellbook of Knowledge as well. So looking at these two cards, we'll go over each of them individually, and we'll talk about what they do for the Fortune Lady deck. So let's go ahead and start with Fortune Lady Fire. And one thing I want to specify really quick, this is about their usefulness in Duel Links. So this is a Duel Links video. I just have Master Duel open because even though Spellbook of Knowledge is available in Duel Links right now, if we go to the card catalog really quick, you'll see that Fortune Lady Fire is not available yet. So I just wanted to have a way for people to see what the card effect of the card was before going over it. So back to Master Duel, let's go ahead and start reading it. So Fortune Lady Fire is a level 2 fire spellcaster monster with question mark attack and question mark defense. This card's attack and defense becomes level times 200. Once per turn during your standby phase, increase this card's level by 1, max 12. When this card is special summoned in attack position by the effect of a Fortune Lady card, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field. So initial impressions of this card, first of all, the main thing you need to consider when you compare this card Master Duel to how its incarnation will be in Duel Links is, I believe there was a change a couple of years ago where they did a blanket nerf on all burn damage to have it. So since Fortune Lady Fire came out after that burn nerf, it's pretty much guaranteed that the part of her effect right here that reads inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field is going to be changed to inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the destroyed monster's attack on the field. That's just the way that burn cards work these days in Duel Links. So is that going to completely kill her viability? I don't think so, but it's definitely going to make an impact because she'd be extremely strong if she kept her burn effect at full power for Duel Links. So now that that's out of the way, do I think that Fortune Lady Fire is going to see play in Fortune Lady decks? I think so. It'll probably see some play, but I don't think that it's going to be a staple card that's going to see play in every deck. I think it's something more that you would use as a tech option depending on the meta, or you just put in a copy for personal preference. And then how many copies do I think Fortune Lady decks will play for Fortune Lady Fire? I think that they'll play either 0 or 1 copy. Because Fortune Lady Fire is not a good card to have in the opening hand to help you make plays on your first turn. And sometimes it's not really necessary even in the mid and late game. Like sometimes it can be a bit redundant because you can use it to destroy an opponent's monster and the burn damage will absolutely win you some games sometimes. But it's not really something that you're going to need all the time. Sometimes you'd just be better off doing a regular synchro play if you can into Fortune Lady Avery or Scrap Dragon or Cypherine Lord Zeta or whichever synchro monster you want to use from your toolbox. And that will probably be a better idea than going into Fire because Fire is low level. And despite that in Duel Links, you can still do some synchro plays with her, but I don't really think that she's necessary for the Fortune Lady deck. I just think, as I said, that I think that she's an option that you can use, and she can be viable, but it's not something that everybody's going to want to run. It's just a fun addition for the deck. So now let's go ahead and look at Spellbook of Knowledge. So this is a normal spell card that reads, send to the graveyard either one spellcaster monster you control or one spellbook card from your hand or face of field, except Spellbook of Knowledge, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of Knowledge per turn. So do I think that this will see play in Fortune Lady decks despite being limited 1? Absolutely. I think it will see play for sure. And I really think that even though it shares the forbidden and limited lists, or its forbidden and limited list spots with a card like Monster Reborn, I believe that it will be played over that. Because Spellbook of Knowledge has better use on turn 1 than Monster Reborn does. I mean, you can use Monster Reborn, but it's more of a combo extender or something that you would use in the mid to late game rather than something that you would use early game. And because of that, I feel that Spellbook of Knowledge is a better choice. Like if I had to pick for my Fortune Lady deck, I'm going to play Spellbook of Knowledge or I'm going to play Monster Reborn, I would pick Spellbook of Knowledge. And I would do that along with running maybe a couple copies of Fortune Lady Light. How many copies of Spellbook of Knowledge will Fortune Lady decks run? I think that they'll run 0 to 1 copies, kind of like Fortune Lady Fire, because I think that, despite what I said, there's still going to be some people that choose to play something like Monster Reborn over Spellbook of Knowledge, because Monster Reborn, it's not a bad card in the Fortune Lady deck by any means. It just has different strengths than Spellbook of Knowledge. Like, they have similar uses in some ways, because you can use Spellbook of Knowledge to get a draw 2 off of Fortune Lady Light, and you can similarly use Monster Reborn to get a draw 2 off of Fortune Lady Water, because you do your full combo into Fortune Lady Avery on turn 1, and then you'll have Fortune Lady Water in the graveyard, so you use Monster Reborn to special summon your water from the graveyard and then draw another 2 cards. Then that gives you 2 bodies on the board. It gives you Fortune Lady Avery and a Fortune Lady Water in defense position on your first turn. So that will give you better defense than Spellbook of Knowledge would. But Spellbook of Knowledge allows you to make plays with light and kind of help you fix your hand if you open a hand where you have just Fortune Lady Light and you don't have a calling. Maybe you can use Spellbook of Knowledge to help you draw into a calling and make plays on your first turn. So, in summary, to finish out the video, I think that both Fortune Lady Fire and Spellbook of Knowledge are going to be useful cards for the Fortune Lady deck. I think that Fortune Lady Fire isn't necessary to include, but I think that it's a good option for you to choose if you wish. And Spellbook of Knowledge, I think, is pretty important. In my opinion, it's a must include over Monster Reborn. Some people will disagree with me on that, and that's fair, because, as I said, Monster Reborn has applications similar to Spellbook of Knowledge, and it does some things that Spellbook of Knowledge can't do. But I think that the most important turns in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links are turn 1 and turn 2, and Spellbook of Knowledge, in my opinion, is a better card than Monster Reborn on turn 1 and turn 2, whereas Monster Reborn is better in the mid or later stages of the game. So that pretty much sums up my opinions on the cards. Let me know what you think about the cards. Let me know if you liked or disliked the video, or if you agree or disagree with my opinion, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.